Hey guys, welcome back to the third and final, well not final, I'm gonna make another video talking about the S5, but this is the third in like the comparison. So like the first video we talked about the performance, how well does it hold up with Android Marshmallow. In the second part, which I haven't even recorded yet, but we're going to be doing this in advance, will be what was it, the second part. The second part will be photos. By the time you watch this, you probably are wondering, I want to see the videos. This will be the videos, because I could do photos and videos in one video. Depends. So yeah, future this might be part 3, this might be part 2. Anyway, so if I sound a bit broken right now, I've had 2 teeth removed, 2 of my front teeth. So talking right now is going to be very difficult. But yeah, enjoy the video. Stay tuned for basically a massive one comparing my S3 Mini, the S5, the S8 against the S24 Ultra, because I will be ordering that next week. Yes, I'm very excited. I'm extremely excited, to be honest. Also, please excuse me, I say S28 and S25 a lot in this video. I meant S8 and S5. So, yeah, sorry about that. But I just want to tell you now instead of putting text on screen.
So I've been using my Galaxy S8 Plus now for a few years. But let's go back to the phone that I used before the S28. The Galaxy S25. The Galaxy S25 will be turning 10 years old this year, sometime in April. But let's take a look back down some of my earlier videos which used this phone. Now, I'm recording at 1080p on both of them. I'm going to be using mostly the microphone for my phone, because the microphone on this sucks, and it is bad. And you're already noticing an issue with this phone. And I am using the selfie camera for both. Now, before you go, this is the selfie camera on the S8 Plus. Yes, this is the selfie camera on the S5. Now, one cool feature the S5 had was you could see how much size your footage was taking up. Now, to be fair, I can understand why this is not a feature on, more modern phones, because more modern phones have more storage. This had 16 gigs of internal storage, and I think you can go up to 128 gig external. This is during the era when microSD card slots and headphone jacks were common nature, normal. When the S8 Plus had 64 gigs of internal storage, or 128 in certain markets. But yeah, so selfie footage, not as good. I used to record like this. Now, I'm using my overhead light in my room. There's one bulb. And as you can see here on my S8 Plus, I could record a video with just this light, and it would be fine. With my S5, though, it's just not good. You can't even see, you literally can't see any detail. Now, to fix this, now you've probably noticed one thing, though. Why does this look wider than this? Even though there's like a 2mm difference in the focal lengths, it's because this has an ultra-wide lens in the selfie camera. Now, to fix that, with my S8 Plus, I could put on a fisheye lens, but it's not the same thing. This is not an ultra-wide lens. I think I gave my ultra-wide lens to someone else. So that's a bit of a pain. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to... well, first, I should really change out these clothes. I've worn them for like 2 days. I'm doing anything literally for days. Yeah, so we're going to do a little bit of a camera comparison, compare it to my phone, and obviously, stuff like that. It's weird, this Cambridge audio system, I always wonder what the top of this, like, little ring was. It's the logo, didn't know. But, yeah, we're going to compare, okay, if I had proper lighting with this phone, so like a proper box light, an actual external microphone, I wish I got an external microphone when I got this phone.
One great thing to note as well, I'm not going to edit any of this audio. I'm going to maybe turn it up, turn it down, but I'm not going to fix any of the audio. So no EQ, no filters. But one thing you can notice with the S5's audio, so pay attention to this orange mixer.
Because as you can hear, the audio is terrible. Like if I had the...
As you can see, the audio is going to the left audio bank. And it's because the mic's bad. Now, if you were to listen to my S8 audio,
It's the logo. Didn't know. But yeah, we're gonna compare. You know, just even okay. If I had proper lighting with this,
even though it's going to the left mostly, it's not completely to the left. Now, there's a way to fix this. What you would do is, you could do this to the entire track, or you could do this to a clip. You would, well, I have a hotkey for it. Clip attributes, you would go to audio, and then you would change the, even though it's recorded in stereo, actually, that makes sense. I'm curious. Yeah, so both of them are recorded in stereo. But if we go down to my audio here shot from my actual Rode NT1A, again, all in stereo. It's just, well, my NT1A is obviously substantially better. It's just it never did it well. So what it would do is just change the right channel to the left channel to basically make it mono.
because as you can hear, the audio is terrible. Like if I had the skills I have now with recording back then.
Now, does it make it better? Yes, as you can hear both audio channels, but the audio is still inherently bad. And it's actually also too loud, which I'm going to just do that real quick.
Because as you can hear.
So, yeah. You can change that, or you can go to mono.
Because as you can hear.
But as you can see, if you just do mono, it's just going to do one left side of audio. That's why you should do stereo, and basically change to this. So what it does is, it takes the left audio and throws it to the right. You can make it entirely just right audio. So.
Because as you can hear, the audio is terrible. Like if I had the skills I have now with recording back then.
So that's all the right channels picking up. So that's basically what that is. Do I wish I knew this years ago? Yes, because basically,
if I had the skill,
all this microphone is picking up is bloody, yeah, it's annoying.
the audio is terrible.
Now, by default, the Rode NT1A, you have to go into OBS and actually toggle in the advanced settings, toggle the mono option, because it does record in mono out of the box. So, yeah, just some insight.
Alright guys, now we're downstairs in my computer room, and now for this test, I do have Task Manager open on my screen, because like I said, the Galaxy S5 doesn't do well in low light. I mean, it's not doing well right now, it's looking pretty bad right now. It's just, it's like a smooth, it's probably the auto beauty filter, which I can't turn off, which is probably doing this to my skin. And my skin just looks washed out compared to on the S8 Plus right here. And this is on the selfie camera, which is a shock. Also, by the way, since I've been using this, which was at 100%, it's now at 60. It has terrible standby mode as well. So, yeah, pretty much of a pain. Just took some photos of my mouse and my keyboard. What was it? Sorry, on my mouse. You know, to compare some stuff. I will do some low light stuff. I want to do some stuff. I would go out and take some photos in the daytime, but it's getting dark at 5 p.m. here in the UK, so I can't do that actually. I will have to do that tomorrow. I'll have to do that tomorrow at some point if I do go out. Also, these will be slightly tilted. I'm going to fix those in post because they're balancing on my mouse. Wire right here. It's probably isn't the best thing ever. Here you go. Even as I can. So, yeah. Pretty bad, pretty terrible. So, yeah, this is always looking a lot better. Now, if I was to close down Task Manager, my phone, my S8 Plus, is trying. It's actually a lot better. Like, I would rather record like this with some, you know, lighting like this than record like this. Like, look at all the noise. The visual noise in the background of this shot, it's absolutely terrible. Now, if I was to actually light myself up with a proper light, for example, here's my Ulanzi 2000 light. I'm going to set this to 50%. Now, oh, here we go. Here's a cool thing. So, you know how always it be shut, not so to speak, the ISO on a camera, like on a proper camera, will change depending on the light if you set it to auto. Well, this one does, but instead of doing it gradually, it has this jumpy effect, like if you were doing it like with a proper camera. If instead of, say you had an ISO control on your actual lens, not ISO control, anything, f-stop control. Instead of it being a smooth transition, it's a very jumpy transition compared to the SA Plus here. Now, the SA Plus does take longer, but I'd rather it be smooth than it be super jumpy. So now if I was to put this light above me, where I would probably light myself up, as you can see, it's doing way better on my SA Plus. That's the issue. The reason why I got this phone, because I generally only got, I got this phone, and let me just put the lighter back up, because it was the only, at the time, there's probably better phones for £400 I could have spent money on, but nevertheless, or I could have waited a bit longer. Realistically, I'd probably, could I have? I'm just using this, so I don't know. Could I have lasted maybe a month with this thing? Probably, if I just told myself, like, wait a month, and then I could have got something for, like, 800 quid, 600 quid possibly. I could have got, like, a Galaxy, what was it, 2015? I could have got, like, an S6, maybe, this was 2015, oh yeah, true. What phones came out in 2015? Don't know, to be honest, that's the thing. 2015. And the thing was, I always wanted the S5 because it looked cool. So I don't know. I could have got a Note. I don't know. But yeah. Now I would compare this, but this thing is worse than this. It's not even comparable. That's how bad it is. It's not even comparable. So now some specs for this device, because you're probably going to be wondering, oh, the S5. I haven't looked at the S5 in ages. What even is the... This is going to be a problem. Let's just do S24, which is the latest device, right? S24 Plus, just to compare. S5, S8 Plus, and then S5 right here. And if you're wondering, why is there no 5 Plus? Well, because 5-inch displays on phones back then were considered big. S5 came out in 2014. Released April 2014. It was announced in February. The S8 Plus announced in March, released in April. And then, shockingly, the S24 was announced only a few days ago, January 17th, and is actually going to be releasing January 24th. So, for the first time in years, Samsung is announcing a phone and then release it. Better than Sony. Sony will announce the device and then release it 6 months later. It's like, well, why? Very weird. So we're just going to be comparing the cameras generally, but to give you guys a comparison, I will put these specs on screen because listing them all out will be a nightmare. I will put all of these on screen. But the two major things to compare from, the 5 and the 8 here is the fact that if we go down to the camera module here, now we're using the selfie cameras right now. So the cameras, on the S5, on the selfie camera, it's 2 megapixels, and it is, with an f-stop of 2.4, and it's a 22mm wide angle camera, and it does 1080p 30. Now, my S8 Plus here, 8 megapixel selfie camera, f-stop of 1.7, 25mm wide angle camera, and it can shoot at up to 1440p 30, although I got it at 1080p right now to compare each other, just be fair. And then obviously the S24 Plus, not the Ultra, the Plus, can do 4K 60. So there's a comparison there. So yeah, there you go. There's a massive jump for that. Now, if we were to use the rear cameras, this has a 16 megapixel. Really weird, I know, right? It's weird how this has a 16 megapixel and Samsung for years did 12 megapixels. This has a 16 megapixel f-stop of 2.2. This is a 31mm levels of focal length. And then it could do, now, before you say, I could do 4K 30 FPS for 5 minutes. It has a limit. Just like how my S8 Plus can let me do 4K 30, but for 10 minutes. And 4K on this phone is not even that good, and it heats the phone up. So, and then the S24 Plus can do 8K at 30, so there you go. That's double it. That's completely double it. So we're now using the rear camera on the Galaxy S8 Plus and the Galaxy S5 Plus. Now keep in mind guys, I'm using OBS right now with my webcam to see what I'm doing, because I can't see what I'm doing, which is a bit of a pain. And now, come on, I'm not using Task Manager right now to light myself up. We're just using my overhead light here. Now, if I was to use Task Manager, boom, this is what it would look like on screen. Now, this is set to 1080p, but I will compare, because these both could do 4K, I will compare 4K from the S5 Plus to the S8 Plus, because why not? I will throw on, though, my proper lights here, my UNC lights, which, as you can see, needs a bit of a clean. We will prop this on the S5, as this has the actual mount for my light here, and it's set to 50%. I gotta be careful because the tripod is sat on right now. It's a bit jank. Where's this gone? Come from the mouse. So this is what it looks like with the light I have, which is set to 5500 Kelvin. So this is all gonna be set to auto anyway. And yeah, tell me what looks good, because I can't see. I mean, future me's probably gonna look at these clips and be like, yeah, this is obviously way better. If I was to look in close on camera, see which one can focus a bit better. Same with the S5 here. Now let me grab something. Here's my unicorn lighter. Probably should have done that testing with the selfie camera focus. I mean, this would have won anyway, because this can't really do that good of focusing. I don't even know if it's focusing or not. Okay, anyway, let's do a short test. Let me switch to 1440p on here to show the quality bump from 1080p. So actually, let's do something that I used to use all the time on the Galaxy S5, the smooth motion mode, or 60 FPS as it's now standardized. 60 FPS on here was cool, but I think it had a limit as well. No, it didn't have a limit. I always thought it had a limit on it. No, but it was just, what did I just move? Oh, I just moved this camera, which might be beneficial. It had issues. It would heat the phone up faster. The file size would be bigger, obviously, because you double the frames. And in low light, it was bad. So if I was to turn this off here, it's going to look terrible on the S5, while my S8 Plus will do a bit better than having no light. Let me just do good old Task Manager. And you're probably thinking, really, your Task Manager is white still? Yeah, Windows 10. So that's what it looks like. Now, one downside to 60 FPS, and I didn't know this, I don't even think it does on the S8 Plus, there's no autofocus. If I remember correctly, I don't think there's any autofocus. There's also some other downsides on the S5, like there's no video stabilization on the selfie camera, just the rear camera. Yeah, so I don't think this even can focus at 60 FPS. I can't tell because my webcam is only 30 FPS. So yeah, smooth motion's good. It lets you slow down from 60 to 30, but it's more good enough to use if you're doing like skating stuff, skating videos, anything sports, anything with fast motion. Talking head, not so much. Now, let's actually switch over to 4K. Should I do 1440p? Let's just switch to 4K. I was wrong. This has a 10-minute limit on the 60 FPS mode, but the S5 doesn't. Weird. But at 4K, the Galaxy S5 has a 5-minute, limit on 4K, probably due to storage, and then the S8 Plus has a 10-minute. I don't think the future devices have limits, but what I'll have to do is, when I'm doing these, I'm probably going to have to, later on in this video, do a comparison, or if I get the footage later from my mum off her Galaxy S10, we can compare, because, yeah, I just have to borrow her phone for a bit, and do that. But, yeah, this is what the quality looks like. I don't know if there's any autofocus in 4K, so I don't know. I think there is. Yeah, on the S8 I think there's autofocus. On the S5, I don't know. I don't think it can due to the light. I think to the light down. But I really don't know. Yeah, it's kind of a mystery almost. But yeah, this has been 4K and 1080p on the rear camera. Tell me which one looks good. I haven't used 4K on here in a long time, so I don't know if it'll be good or not. one thing I forgot to mention with the Galaxy S5, that I probably should have mentioned, is if you don't have a fast enough SD card, when you're done recording in 4K, it needs to process the video. Yeah. Now what we're going to do is, I'm recording at 1440p on the selfie camera, which because 1080p on this phone hasn't aged well. But what we're going to do is now, we're going to compare 1080p, but the rear camera of the Galaxy S8 here, Galaxy S5. Because, now by the way, this can go all the way down to 480p if you want to do some kind of like, whatever it's lo-fi type of vlogs. So, yeah. So what I'm going to have to do is I have to prop the tripod legs higher than usual because I want to get you guys equally equal to each other. That'll work. So now we're at, what was it, 1440p on my selfie camera on the SE Plus and 1080p on the rear camera for my S5. The only reason I'm doing this is because the selfie camera in the S5 is terrible. But the rear camera does have some redeeming qualities if it's lit properly. So I have Task Manager open here, but now if I was to take Task Manager down, I think I'm not sure if I can't remember if it does better or not. Do I have anything I can use to oh, hang on. Galaxy tab here. Can I see if it looks good or not? Kind of hard to tell. I'm using it as a mirror. Probably thinking, can't you just plug your phone into your computer and see it from that way? You can. I forget how. There's an app. I forget what it's called. But if we were to put my light on here, I don't know if it's focusing or not. Like obviously on my phone it is. At 1440p, this is gonna look pretty sharp. But I don't think there's any. One thing I did learn though, I think on here there's no autofocus with I think video stabilization on. I could be wrong. I can't remember. I will put it on screen if I remember. But yeah, by the way, this video is going to be a bit long because I want to compare the cameras and I also want to compare my mum's camera. So, because my phone isn't new and we're comparing these only a few years apart. But yeah, it's bit of a bummer. What I might even do is as well is just I think ask one of my friends. He has an S23 Ultra. I might just ask him like, hey, send me over some few selfies, some videos. He's gonna be like, huh? He's gonna be so confused, like, huh, what? But yeah. Oh, my hair. This bit of my hair is bugging me. So annoying. Anyway, I'm gonna offload the videos from here because, yeah, the SD card, it probably has like 2 gig left. So we are now walking down Moreland Road. This is part 2 for the Galaxy S5 in 2024. Compared it to the S8 Plus because that's the next best thing I kind of have. I don't have the S24 Ultra yet, so obviously my S5, obviously the S8 is going to do a better job. There's that truck behind me. Oh, this Ford. This road is such a dodgy road, like. Now, I don't know if the microphone is being picked up by my earphones that I'm wearing. I don't think it is. I don't think Bluetooth 5.0 could do that. I think Bluetooth 5.3 could do that. So yeah, you can see that my phone it's not focusing on me. And it's focusing on the sky, but you can see that my S8 here is actually focusing on my face. Right, we're doing some vertical recording on Newport Road, which is quite loud. I'm doing this on purpose because I would always walk down this road and record with this phone. You gotta go to busy environments. Now I am recording 1440p on my selfie on my S8 Plus versus 1080p on the S5. Unless I switched it. Did I just switch it back? No, I didn't. I'm doing that for a reason, to show you the difference between 1440p and 1080p. Now this video will be uploaded in 4K, so that should help. I'm not going to use the S3 Mini because that's just going to be annoying, and plus that thing, that we know that thing's bad. Now I have dropped down the rear resolution to 1080p on the SE Plus, just because that'll be a bit more of a fair comparison. God, and I used to use this thing all the time. I used to think it was good. Now, it would have been a lot better if I got an external microphone, got a tripod, a good tripod,
another bad one. But, yeah. Because if I remember correctly, there is video stabilization, but you need to manually turn it on. And I think it doesn't have autofocus. Does the Galaxy S5 still hold up in 2024? Because this has been 10 years. So, for example, here's my S8 Plus right by. That's the screen. That's the brightness turned all the way up. Okay, all the way up. Hopefully, in 2 weeks, I can order a new phone. And yes, I'm buying a new phone. Probably thinking, oh, what are you buying? Would it be in this video? Sadly, no. By the time I do this video, I'm probably going to be publishing it. And now, if we turn the brightness up all the way on the S5, now it's pretty bright for an overcast day. So this is kind of unfair. If it was super sunny out here, yes, the hell was that? Yes, the brightness wouldn't be the best. Now, hopefully you guys can hear me. I am using my external microphone here, for once with this windscreen on, and you can probably hear these fucking birds. Right. Now, God, I forget how slow the S5 is. Just responsiveness, it's not good. One thing I am going to miss from my S8 Plus is the iris scanner. The whole reason I got this was the iris scanners, because I know it's face recognition, but it's just not the same thing. All these are at auto, from what I remember. Wow, just opening the camera app takes a hot minute. So, let me check. Now, this is software-wise, this bugs me, so to get to settings, you can quickly just hit the settings and it gives you a bunch of options. I have to go into a sub-menu, like an iPhone. Like, it's weird because, like, in Android 14, they brought that menu back, and it's really bizarre. I haven't been turning off HDR. It's usually auto on here. There's no auto HDR on here. So, I'm just going to leave it on as I've left it on for this entirety of this, like, test. So, to make this fair, I would have to set this to the full resolution, but I don't like the, full, not resolution, the aspect ratio. So we're just going to do 16:9 to keep it fair. So I'm going to take a picture of Curtis's shed. I'm going to take some selfies out here. I was meant to do this video ages ago, and I just did it, but it just came out bad looking, if I remember correctly. And taking selfies is going to be a bit difficult because different lighting situations in the same area. And now let's do a video test outside like I was meant to do before. This will be the 4K video test. And yes, both these cameras, but this can do 4K, yeah. I didn't know it could do that. Oh yeah. Doy. Also, I'm going to have to take these selfies again because I forgot I use a different aspect ratio for selfies. Yeah, so these are going to be very different. On here I use 3x4, which would be 8 megapixels, or would it be 8 megapixels? I can't remember, I think, or 5 megapixels. And this is only a 2 megapixel camera on a selfie, so yeah, a bit different there. Alright, so let's do the video outside, because, like I said, the S5 is still a good phone if you just keep your expectations to be a bit minimal. So, video test outside. Now, how fair this will be, I don't actually know. Alright, so the S5 does have a limit of 5 minutes, and then the S8 has a 10-minute limit. So we're going to be testing out the 4K out here. I would go out and walk somewhere, but I can't really be asked. I don't want to go show you too much of my garden right now, because my garden is kind of a mess. So, yes, a lot of that's going to be like blurred, if anything. If anything, I'll just show you my neighbor's garden. Over there. And if anything, I'll just jump up in my chair, bench here. And off fall. Like so. Like, could you use the 4K on here? Yes, you actually could. Like, is it outright terrible? No. Now, one caveat to the 4K on here, if you use a really slow SD card, it's going to take a while to process, like a good minute or two. Well, the day it's not raining, the day I actually just don't want to go out anywhere. Typical, right? Yeah, so a minute on here. One cool feature on Android Marshmallow is probably on this phone, you can see how much storage your file takes up and for how long. So a minute in 4K, 366 megabytes. Alright, let's head back inside. It's cold. So guys, thank you for watching this part of the, the Galaxy S5 in 2024. This has been the video section. If you've noticed throughout the entirety of that, I didn't really show much off of the audio. It's because the audio on the S5 is bad. So for example, here's the audio here. Whoops.
But what I'll have to do is, when I'm doing these, I'm probably going to have to, later on in this video, do a comparison.
As you can see, now to fix it, you could go to the clip attributes and change this to here. What it'll do is, it'll bring the left side audio over to the right side.
But what I'll have to do is, when I'm doing these, I'm probably going to have to...
Which is a bit easier, but the problem is that background audio. You would have to try and, you would have to go in here. Now, by the way, that is with an EQ on. Let me just turn this off.
Later on in this video, do a comparison. Or if I get the footage later from my mum off her Galaxy S10,
So you'd have to do that. You'd also have to, again, you would have to go into here, go into, noise reduction.
But what I'll
and you'd have to do auto speech mode.
have to do is, when I'm doing these, I'm probably going to have to, later on in this video, do a comparison. Or if I get the footage later from my mum off her Galaxy S10, we can compare. Because, yeah, I just have to borrow her phone for a bit and do that. Footage later from my mum off her Galaxy S10.
That's what you would do to fix it. The old me never used to do that because, I was never good at it, and it was just tedious, right? I never did that. So obviously for this video, I'm not gonna have any of that turned on, and I'm also going to have the broken audio, so you're gonna hear it to mostly the right, but that's for the comparison. But it's mainly more about the actual video quality. So yeah, if you like this video, like it, subscribe, stay tuned for the picture comparison, because there's one thing about the S5 that still holds up is the actual camera. Like taking photos. And even if this is a secondary camera. Now, the question is the S5 better than my webcam? Shockingly, no. My webcam is terrible, but its color is a lot better. I know I trash on the C920 a lot, but the C920 has some characteristics I like about it. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in part 3.